All right, happy Saturday. It's been a little while since I made a video. My gram had a little bit of a tumble, so we've been taking care of her. But I'm going to be able to go see her tomorrow, and so I wanted to make something, and I'm going to be making peanut butter scones today, which, to be honest with you, I've never had a peanut butter scone, but we're going to try it because I like scones. And then one thing that I've, like, if you go to England, scones are more like a biscuit. They call them scones or like scones or something. I don't know. They say it differently. But yeah, so we're making US scones. So we're first going to start out with our flour. So it's going to be 2.5 cups of flour. All right. 1, 2. And one thing that I've learned with scones that I do, so you always want your butter to be like really cold when you make them. So one thing that I tend to do, which has helped, is put the butter in the freezer, like before you do it, because it just seems to kind of mix better. Because like typically you're gonna use, I don't even remember what this is called, but you'll use this to cut in the butter when you're making the scone dough. So, okay. Oh, also preheat your oven to 425. Got it coming up. And then you're going to want to put parchment paper on your baking sheet, which it also says to spray the baking sheet. So I'll have to make sure to do that. So we're going to put our flour, so 2.5 cups of flour. Then there's going to be 1/2 cup of brown sugar, packed brown sugar. Then we need 2 tablespoons of granulated white sugar. Oops, sorry, tablespoon, yes. I've always been like a scone person, and I've always been a peanut butter person, so this is just going to be great. Okay, and then it does call for like 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. So I'm interested to see how that plays into it. Oh, maybe I don't have my 1/4. Okay, so we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon. Maybe a little too much. Okay, and then we want a teaspoon of baking soda. And then, right, a teaspoon baking soda. And then we want 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Which I feel like I'm probably going to have to buy some more soon. I know there's like staples that you have when you like to bake. So 1, 2. Oh, make sure I get a full one. Okay, 3. And then it says a pinch of salt. I always wonder, like, what, ooh, I feel like that's more than a pinch. So let's leave half of that in there. But that's okay. Alright, so I think I got all of that, right? Okay, nutmeg. Alright, so then we're gonna mix it all up. I'm interested to see how the nutmeg plays with the peanut butter. I feel like it could be good. I'm not necessarily sure. Because I feel like with nutmeg, you use a lot, like, I don't know, you use that, like, in pies and, like, different things. So I'm interested to see how this works with the nutmeg. I mean, it's not a lot. Like, it was only, like, 1/4 of a teaspoon. But, oh, let me close. Like, why is that open? So, yeah. Okay. So, like I mentioned, I did put my butter into the, okay, dry and cut in the peanut butter. Continue to find the peanut butter and butter. Cut in the peanut butter to the dough. Okay, so I guess we're going to put the cup of peanut butter first and then the butter. Continue to cut the peanut butter into the dough. Interesting. Okay, well, we're going to try it. I mean, all that we could do is try it, and then if it doesn't work out, live and learn. All right. I've never tried to cut in peanut butter, so I'm very interested to see how this works into the dough. I don't know. I'm not sure about this. This seems a bit suspect. Again, if you've watched a couple of my videos, you know I love peanut butter. So, okay, and it calls for a cup of peanut butter. And we got a little bit more than a cup. A little more for good measure. Why not? Alright, so I'm very intrigued how this is going to work to cut in the peanut butter. Yeah, put one little more scoop. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we're going to try this. This is like a pastry cutter. I think I got this Target. But it comes in handy when you are doing scones. Huh. Interesting. Never knew you could cut in peanut butter like this. Wow. Huh. We learned something new. I guess because the flour's dry. Huh. That's very interesting. Okay, because if you can see, it's getting like clumpy, and that's typically kind of what you want like with the butter, because when you bite into a scone, you want it to have like that buttery flavor and like different things. Huh. This is very interesting. Alright, so it's looking pretty good. Okay, so you can see how when you use this pastry cutter, oh, there's a little bit of peanut butter. I want to get down there. No, I blocked it out. But the pastry cutter just kind of, I don't know, makes it basically into like, how do you want to call it? Kind of just like little pieces. All right, so like I mentioned, put my butter in the freezer. So, gonna get her out. And the recipe calls to like cube it, so we're gonna try to cube it. Okay. Oh, a little hard. That's okay. Again, like I mentioned, just want to make sure you're have it cold, because especially like I said with scones, you don't want the butter to like melt when you're making the scones, or like in the process. Like you want them to kind of melt when they're in the oven, so they get that buttery flavor. I am very intrigued by these. I am so glad I found this recipe. Also, I'll link the recipe. But yeah, I'm pumped. Okay, so same thing. Just gonna use our lovely little pastry cutter for the butter so that it can get mixed in. One thing you do have to kind of make sure so that like all of it is getting mixed together. Takes a little bit of strength for this. Not the strongest, but it definitely does take a little bit of, because you want the butter and like it to, because the liquid is like almond milk, and so you want it to be able to look kind of like crumbly, basically. We're getting there. You just don't want like big chunks of butter. Like you want it to be kind of, I would say like dime size, so that when it bakes, you do get that like buttery texture. I remember the first time I made a scone. Whew, they were bad. They were flat. I mean, they tasted fine, but did they look like a scone? No, they did not. So, looking pretty good. And with the pastry cutter, I usually like to kind of go sideways because it seems to, they call the process cutting in the butter. Looking pretty good. All right, so as you can see, it's very chunky, has those little pockets of butter, which will be so tasty once you eat the scone. Now, this actually makes supposedly like 16 scones, so that's a lot of scones. But I don't think they're like that large, kind of small. Okay, so gotta turn in the egg, which I think I forgot. Oop, one beaten egg. Just that. Completely didn't realize I needed an egg. Although I should have known. In case anybody was curious, I'm the world's coolest aunt. My brother has 3 little boys, and then my best friend has my goddaughter and my other nephew, Gus Gus. So, I'm gonna beat the egg here. Okay, so it says mix in the egg, the milk, which I'm using almond milk, and it's like a half a cup of almond milk. And then we're also gonna put in some vanilla extract as well. Okay. Basically, it's just the wet liquid, so we can actually make a dough because it's pretty dry right now. So now that we have our liquids, also, again, I eyeball. Ooh, I might have been. I feel like sometimes I may put in a little too much vanilla, but that's okay. Okay, so should we? Okay, let me get a big spoon. I feel like that'll be helpful. Okay, let's mix it up. Okay. It's definitely getting more combined, which is a good thing. Because the one thing I've learned is you do not want your scone dough to be dry. And reason being is I found out the last time I made scones, I made 2 batches. In the first batch, I realized I didn't have enough liquid in it. And so what happened was it actually burned at the bottom. And yeah, it wasn't great. I was a bit upset, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm probably gonna add a little bit more milk. Just to be safe, because I like to make sure, like I said. Don't want to add too much because we don't want it to be like a wet dough. But I also don't want it to not congeal together, which is looking pretty good. Okay, look at that. It's coming together. And it's nice. I'll be able to show you once I put it on the baking sheet. But because you like cut the butter in, you can see chunks of butter, which that's honestly, in my opinion, what you want. Okay, so, let me spray my parchment paper because that's what it said to do. Yeah, move everything out of the way. Okay. And the recipe says that it makes like 2 balls, or like 2 kind of, I don't know what it's called, but it's going to be like 2 sets of scones. All right, there we go. Okay, gotta roll the sleeves up a little bit. Oh, let's spray this. It says that you can put both of them on one sheet, but I don't think I like that. Okay, so we're gonna try to divide this in two evenly. Okay, I like that one. Okay, so basically, I'm just gonna, I know I did wash my hands beforehand, so please don't judge me using my fingers. But yeah, basically, so you started out with a ball, and then we're just gonna spread her out a little bit. Kind of bigger scone. But yeah, see how, ooh, spread her out. And like those white pieces are the butter. So, where's my knife? Okay. What I'm gonna do is actually, well, yeah, I guess. All right, maybe I made them a little bit. Okay, we probably can make these two a wee bit smaller. Okay, yeah, there we go. So, cut it up. I got 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then what we're gonna do, so it calls to sprinkle raw sugar. I do not have raw sugar, unfortunately. But, yeah, and we don't really have to separate them, it says, right? Stir in. Yeah. Okay. So this is gonna go in for 15 to 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna prepare the other one so that when this is done, we can put the other one in. Again, it said you could put both of them in at the same time. We're gonna put it for 16 minutes. Again, I have a gas oven, and so for some reason it seems to bake a little faster. Okay. All right, let's make our second one. This one looks like it'll be, ooh. Let me get the rest of this in here. Don't want any. Don't want any butter missing. Okay, so we're gonna put it in the middle and just flatten around. I like scones because I feel like you can eat them for breakfast. You could have it as a dessert. Well, this one, I feel like you could definitely have it as a dessert because it's peanut butter. Because the recipe actually states that it should be like a cookie. It's my grandma. I told her I was making peanut butter scones, and she's like, "Oh, you don't need to bring me one. I like peanut butter cookies." And then I told her, I was like, "Well, the recipe says that it's like a peanut butter cookie." So she was like, "Oh, I'll try it now." Oh, so I got a little, no, that's just a glue. Okay, so same thing. I'm gonna cut this one. I think I actually was able to make a lot more in this one. Nice. I got 10. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, still 8. But yeah, so got the second batch in. So like I said, I set my timer for 16 minutes. I'll probably check them at 15, but then I'll be back to show you what it looks like. All right, so I think I've determined that my oven is very warm and not the accurate temperature. So I checked these probably at like minute 10 or like 11. Look at them. I'm gonna let them cool and then I'm gonna try it. But I'm real excited Maybe let's try one of the itty bitty pieces. Just so we can see what this is like. Oh, ow. This almost burned myself. Okay, I feel like I should probably let this. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is steaming. Wow. That's an interesting texture and flavor. I was afraid that they were going to be really peanut buttery, but let me blow on it because it's a little hot. Huh. It's not as peanut buttery as I thought. It definitely kind of tastes cookie-like. Like, that's interesting. Okay, let me try one more bite. I like it. I feel like with a little butter on top. I'm a butter and scone kind of gal. Wow, that's really good. Yeah, peanut butter scones. Who knew? And it's not like too peanut buttery because I was afraid. I mean, although too much peanut butter is never enough. But yeah, definitely give it a try. I will link the recipe below. And yeah, if you like my videos, subscribe to my channel. Tomorrow I am going to get Graham's review. She may not be in the mood to do it, but we're going to ask. Have a great weekend.